Let's go. Do-ba-da-da-da-da-da-do. Let's go live and talk some football. Yes, yes, yes. It is that time. I know it said 11 p.m. That was a mistake on my part. I'm not going to go 11 a.m. I'm not going to go at 11 p.m. We're doing this right now. Yeah. How are you doing out there, ladies and gentlemen? It is me, Russell Wayne. It's the Main Event 365. It's the phone sessions. Thank you, everybody that's out there watching on the Detroit Lions Villain Squad and on the NFC North Open Mic. Bill the Packer fan is chiming in there. What's up, Dom? What's up, Dom? I'm going to invite you on here. You want to talk some football with me? I am throwing the link right there into the chat right there. And, it's the off season. So here we are. I'm a Detroit Lion fan, but I know that we're broadcasting live into Mike the Bear fan too. So we're here covering the entire NFC North. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this top 100 players. And I think that there's an overwhelming feeling from Detroit Lion fan that we kind of got snubbed on that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? The two players we had, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell, were the only two Lions that were in the NFL's top 100. I mean, do you think that's a snub? I mean, we're trying to be realistic here when it comes to being in an NFC North. You know, we have NFC North fans in here. There's Green Bay Packer fans in here. There is, and I mean, I think there might be a Viking fan here too, if they're not in witness protection after everybody that they've lost. And Bear fans, and obviously Lion fans. The Detroit Lions news. Thank you for letting us broadcast. Robert says Goff should have been on there. I mean, you can make a case for that. Goff should have been on there. I mean, he led a top 5 offense. I mean, and if you want to be the worst that you could say is top 7 in every metric. He was 5-1 in the division. I think Goff could have made a case to be on there. But the thing is like, I don't mind it. I don't mind only having 2 players on there. I think that there's a lot of ascending players that are on this Detroit Lions team. And I think they could have a lot more on there next year. But I mean, let's take Goff for instance. I mean, there are a lot of other quarterbacks that, did some things this year that are really, really good quarterbacks that deserve to be on there. I mean, Kirk Cousins, was Kirk Cousins on there? I don't know. Does Goff deserve to be on there more than Cousins? I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. Oh, we got main event Mike. What's up, main event Mike?
What's up, Russ? How are you today?
I'm doing good, man. Juneteenth, happy Juneteenth, and we're in here doing our Juneteenth AM show, and we're getting it ready. We're trying to fire up some of these football fans. I mean, it's June. We're in June, so obviously we're only talking to avid football fans.
Rabid.
I mean, yeah, you have to be. I mean, casual fan checked out right after they found out who they got in the draft. And now we're watching basketball. We're watching the Stanley Cup finals and a bunch of crap that real football fans don't care about. We want to know about the backup kickers. We want to know about it.
Right. We're ahead of all the bandwagoners.
Yeah. So
the bandwagon is coming out big time once this team starts winning this year.
Well, yeah, there's actually people following our page. It's amazing. And it has to be because of the bandwagon, because there's no other reason for anybody to like us. No, what we were discussing here right before you came on, I mean, there's a lot of Lion fans that are out there. Only 2 players that got put onto the top 100 players, being Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell, and think that the Lions got snubbed a little bit in there. Do you think they got snubbed only having 2 players in the top 100?
Frank Ragnow's the best center in the league, or definitely top 2. So, I mean, you're just not giving enough love to our strength, I think, also.
Right. But don't you think that, I mean, where they have it, you could put Frank Ragnow, and I'm not going to argue like putting Frank Ragnow on there. I think you could argue Aiden Hutchinson being put on there or Jared Goff being put on there, but I don't mind it. I don't mind them not putting those guys on there because Frank Ragnow was dealing with a toe injury, and he had 2 horrific games that really didn't. I mean, we didn't do very well in that game against Carolina, and that was a lot to do with the fact that the offensive line let them down in that game. So a lot of those other guys were a little more consistent than Frank. The Jared Goff, I think that you can argue that. I mean, you could argue Goff being on there.
I can't. And the reason that I can't, because it's only 100 players. And how many are you of one position are you going to include? There are so many positions. I mean, right? I mean, TJ Watt, is he in the top 100 players? Yeah. So I'd rather have him than Jared Goff on that list, because Jared Goff is not in the top 5 of all the quarterbacks in the league.
And that's fine. And that's fair. And I think that's why he's not on there. And Aiden Hutchinson, if he has another good year, I mean, there's a lot of players that the Lions have that very well could be on there this year, but I don't mind them. I mean, Kirby Joseph, I mean, he only played half the season. I mean, I'm looking at some of these guys that possibly could have won. Alex Anzalone. No, I mean, come on. I mean, really? I mean,
no. Top 100. That's a pretty small number,
right?
About 32 teams and a lot of positions.
Because when I'm looking at it, and we got Detroit Dom is in here, so we got what's up
again, Dom? How are you?
I'm doing all right. How about you guys?
Great, man. Great to see Dom again.
Hell yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can chime right in on this too. I mean, everybody seems to think that we were disrespected. I don't think that that's what it is. What do you think about this?
I think I popped right in when you guys were talking about Ragnow, and I was going to say he had been in the top 100 in previous seasons, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
I would say, I mean, I'm good with Sewell being there. I think you could include Ragnow because, it's pretty much an agreed upon opinion around the league that he's top 5 at his position.
Sure.
But in the top 100,
as far as anyone else being listening,
how many of those spots do you reserve for a center, Dom?
That's a good question. If you see the whole list, how many centers are on there? You guys know offhand?
That was top 5. So
right, I think,
right,
not 5.
Right.
So definitely not 5.
And do you think the injuries really caused that too? That contributes to that, right?
What do you mean?
Quite
Not
possibly.
him? Not
I mean, he still played great last year. I'm wondering about that. That toe thing is something that's probably going to affect him for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds like something he's going to have to gut through if he wants to continue playing. That is a sad thing. I did read on that too. But I think that we're under the same impression right here. I mean, I don't think it's an act of disrespect. There's just certain guys that weren't on there, and you can
Hutch
make the argument.
Hutch was like the first guy on the list of like honorable mentions, right? Because I heard him talking about it on the radio, and he was literally the first name.
And don't they have the players? Isn't this something that the players have input on? So they're actually watching these guys, and
I think the list is compiled mostly by players, isn't it?
I think so. I'm not 100%. You guys can tell me because we don't know anything on this show. We just like talking football. But yeah, if you actually have that information, go ahead and throw it on there. But I had seen a couple of the outlets that do Detroit Lions news and everything like that, like really feeling like they were disrespected. Like I think David Pike really felt like they were disrespected, and I think that
there's one guy who would definitely have Goff on his list. We love you, Pike, but
I love David Pike too, and I think that and if you definitely want to be on that side, you should definitely go check out David Pike's stuff because he put out a really good video on that is defending some of the players that got left off of that list. But I don't think that I want to go and die on that hill. I think that we have a good
TJ Gardner-Johnson on his list.
Is it? I don't know if he's on this list. I don't know.
He is not.
No, I mean, was he on David Pike's list of players that he listed as disrespected? I didn't read his article.
I didn't. I would imagine so. And honestly, I would say he's probably the next one that I would say was a snub.
Yeah, he led the league in interceptions last year. He was captain of the defense that went to the Super Bowl, and he plays safety.
Thanks, Philly.
And he plays safety. Now, in the top 100 players, I imagine that safety has a reservation for at least a few spots. And you would have to put CJ Gardner-Johnson in that spot. If he still played in Philadelphia, would he then be on the list?
I would say yes. And by the way, I keep forgetting, led the league in picks while missing 5 games.
Wow.
Okay. See, now I had forgotten about that. That may exclude him from the list then.
Potentially.
Yeah. That is a good that works both ways, doesn't it? But I mean, he did do a lot in a short period of time, and that's a great point right there.
I could make a better case for CJ Gardner-Johnson to be on that list than Jared Goff for sure.
Do you have the whole list in front of you?
I don't. I was just reading that we only had the 2 players, so I honestly didn't do all of that good research right there. Let me try to get this thing up.
And I like lists like this. I like lists like this. It's 100, and then people could just sit there and argue about the order of that 100. I mean, I don't think there's any argument, right? Patrick Mahomes would be number 1, wouldn't you think?
Yep.
The best player at the most crucial position.
I know that Amon-Ra St. Brown was like 83. I think that was low for like some of the guys that were around him when I was looking at that. I need 20.
If anybody out there watching knows, please put it in the comment to enlighten us dummies here.
Yeah. We want to look at that the CBS here. Let's see.
And then you can come on the show Monday nights on the NFC North and get called a dummy.
So we were using the CBS Sports. I think this is the list that they were talking about here because I remembered Justin Jefferson was number 7 on this list. He was the first.
That seems high, but he's a great player.
Probably the best I've got the list now.
Maybe the best wide receiver in the league, but.
So, but I don't. I think it's really hard to be disrespectful on a top 100 list when there's like over 20 positions on both sides of the ball, and it's like, come on, man, it's like, remember when we did the lists last year that nobody looked at? The top 5 of all time not named list.
Yeah, right.
All those, but that was so hard because it's like, who are the top 5 quarterbacks of all time? And we went out of our way to even pick like different types of dudes than the same old, picking guys like Jim Kelly, like what a great quarterback that was that got forgotten in the mix. And I got in an argument with somebody over that with Dan Marino. I said, Jim Kelly's better than Dan Marino. No. And it's like, well, I mean, who was the main reason that Dan Marino never made it to other Super Bowls was Jim Kelly. Like
that and the Dolphins GM never getting him a running back.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, for whatever reason, but Jim Kelly seemed to be the one that always outdueled and won that game in the playoffs. Maybe True. It's just the Jimmy Garoppolo over Aaron Rodgers thing, but
I think Dom just nailed it. In the NFL, even though it's a passing league, you have to be able to run the ball. And the Dolphins could never run the ball with Dan Marino. Never.
Right.
And that is what killed him. I think you nailed that on the head. Thurman Thomas was a beast. And Andre Reed, Jim Kelly, and Thurman Thomas, maybe the greatest trio ever. I saw it posted in one of the groups. I believe it was NFC North, the Huddle that we're members of. And I think it was somebody posted, what's the greatest trio of all time? Of course, people said Aikman, Emmett, Michael Irvin as a trio, Roger Craig, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. That's definitely in the conversation. But I think Jim Kelly, like you said too, that trio in Buffalo would definitely be.
I'll take them over those Cowboys players. That trio of Cowboys, each one of those guys are some of the most overrated players at their position in NFL history.
You said you would take those Buffalo guys over the Dallas Cowboy guys?
Yep.
Oh, well, not in 2 of the Super Bowls, I wouldn't have.
True.
I love it. But when you talk about a guy that, like, I think he's underrated because he dominated the conference. I mean, he won the conference like 4 years in a row, and represent, even though he lost all of them.
Yeah, and he's a perfect representation of how championships matter in your legacy. I mean, we just don't look at Jim Kelly with enough respect as we should.
Yeah, true. I know we went sideways right here a little bit, but we're talking top 100 players, of last year, and it just kind of filtered into some of these all-time greats. But I like this list. I mean, I think Aaron Donald's a little bit low, but he didn't have as good of a season. I mean, I'm one of those truthers on Aaron Donald. I think he's the best player in all football just because of the way that he affects the game.
So what number is Aaron Donald?
He's number 9. He's behind Justin Jefferson.
Just giving it a quick glance, Russ. Obviously, there's all the obvious names. Like
here, I'll bring it up.
Give us a quick name that jumps out to you as a surprise to be on this list.
Well, let me see if I can't just throw this thing up here so everybody can see it. And then you guys can kind of look at it yourself and make. So we're starting with, obvious. Those aren't, I don't mind the top 3. You got to take the quarterbacks, most important position on the field,
It's my quarterback.
Nick Bosa, Myles Garrett. I mean,
yeah, Travis Kelce. See, this is the thing. We're not ranking them. I mean, Travis Kelce at 6. Come on.
Is that too high to you?
High for a tight end. I don't care if you are Travis Kelce.
That's my thing about this. Like who? It's hard to rank players at different positions. You know what I mean?
For sure.
All putting them all into one list. I mean,
and that's what
Travis
I mean.
Kelce the best tight end?
Yes.
Is Travis Kelce the best tight end in the league? Yes. Is he better overall than Justin Jefferson? Who's to say? I think Micah Parsons is a little high.
Can you put the list back up, Russ?
Ramsey is way too high.
Yeah, I'm trying to go back and forth a little bit just in case CBS wants to copyright ding me. So I'll take it on and off a little bit here. But yeah, Micah Parsons at number 8, Aaron Donald at number 9, Trent Williams number 10. I mean, you're talking the best at their position. I have no problem with the guy at the top of the position. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Trent Williams should be ahead of Travis Kelce because it's a more important position. That's fair, but you can't argue the position. TJ Watt, Tyreek Hill.
No, stop for a second. TJ Watt at 11. Okay. So the injury is not affecting.
That is true.
That right? Now Frank Ragnow has been snubbed. by virtue of TJ Watt being
Right.
on the list.
That is true. That is a good point right there. But what do you think about that? In the comments, let's see. Let's see what we got here.
Would Calvin Ridley in 2020 be on this list? He absolutely would. He just hasn't played since then because he's been suspended. So why wouldn't he be on this list now if TJ frickin' Watt is on here?
Right.
In honor of Juneteenth, I'm going to play the race card on that one.
Come on. Yes. Gosh, I didn't want to go there. Don't do that. No. And then looking at this list, I don't know.
Justin Herbert's too high.
For sure.
I don't understand why people think he's so great. I mean,
he's huge, Dom. That's why the numbers are huge. The yardage is huge.
Yeah, you know what number is non-existent? Playoff wins.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, he's Philip
no Matt
Rivers
Stafford.
or early in his career Matt Stafford right now.
Stephon Diggs, Jair Alexander. There you go. There's some cornerbacks.
You know who else is overrated? The entire Buffalo Bills this year.
You think so?
I think so.
You don't think
they can't seem to take that step forward?
I think that Josh Allen is a great player, but he just does.
He can't do it by himself.
He does too much.
Because he has to.
Mike Gordon never got over that hill until he started to get the rest of his team involved.
You know, and it's one of those things. Remember what we were talking about earlier? How the curves with quarterbacks is. It's kind of like you play and you can have a good season, and then the league is so good that they're gonna figure you out, right? It's gonna happen. It even happened to Mahomes. Then they make an adjustment to him. Then that quarterback has to figure something out, and sometimes the quarterbacks that they never level up, right?
Right.
Now, last year. The teams kind of figured out how to stop Josh Allen and to at least play him to the point where they can let him get his stats and do all the stuff, but they could beat him. They figured out how to beat him. So he's gonna have to figure that out this year. Like he's gonna have to figure out how to adjust to their adjustments, how they were trying to mess him up to go into this year. And I think he can take that next step and go back into that elite category again. That's just my 2 cents.
It's my quarterback.
I think Cincinnati will be the team that emerges from the AFC in 2023. I think the addition of the left tackle, Pro Bowl left tackle. I can't think of his name right now. First,
see, we're bad at this. So
from
go
Kansas
ahead.
City, who came from Kansas City. And his
Oh
dad,
yeah,
Brown, Dwayne Brown, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Orlando
Brown.
Orlando Brown Jr.
Yes, it takes
Orlando
3 brains
Brown
if we get
Jr.
one.
is a Pro Bowl or an All Pro, one of the best in the business at left tackle. And you giving him now to Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. I like their running back room is full. They made some great pickups on defense this year, and they drafted well. I really think they're building something. And look, they beat the snot out of Buffalo, even after the DeMar Hamlin incident, which is mind-blowing. If nothing was going to bring a team together, your guy died on the field, okay? You've got Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and a super deep, great defense. This is your year. And you don't even make it to see Kansas City in the title game? Come on.
Right.
Their window closed. I think it closed. Von Miller got hurt. They did bring Leonard Floyd over in this offseason. That's going to help their defense. Their defense is tough, no doubt about it. DeMar Hamlin says he's going to play again, but that's a whole nother conversation. But, hey, I just think their window closed. The competition in the AFC is so great. I mean, arguably the top 5 quarterbacks in the whole league are in one conference. So that alone is going to make it tough. You've got Lamar Jackson coming back with OBJ.
Right.
The AFC is the Wild West, man. It is going to be so interesting to see who comes out of there. And I just don't think Buffalo, they missed their shot the last 2 years. And now that window's maybe it comes back in a couple more years. But right now,
Cincinnati took a step forward that I think a lot of us thought Buffalo would. But I mean, I still think if you put a legitimate RB1 on that Buffalo team, they're still quite scary.
So they're probably in play right there for this Delvin Cook sweepstakes. There's been some chatter on social media about Josh Jacobs being grumbling and maybe getting a shot. You think they take a shot on somebody like that? Stack it up?
Yeah.
No.
Or Derrick Henry or someone.
Their running back room is Damian Harris, James Cook, and
did we lose him? Yeah,
James.
Well, yeah, it was that guy, whatever he was saying. So James Cook, basically they need an upgrade from when you're looking at that. And if I'm looking at some of these comments right here that I always seem to forget about, Goff should have been on there. MCDC from Chris. MCDC is the coach of the year this season. Like that call. Keith thinks I think that's a fair assessment. I think that he was talking about
Did somebody say Jared Goff should be on the top 100 list?
Yeah.
That's David Pike's shadow account.
Yeah, that's all. But that's all good. That's a fair argument.
Hey,
I mean, the guy. So, sup, Mike Sean from the LPGA event this weekend. I think it's about right for the Lions players in the top 100. Ragnow, maybe, but we have to prove it for one more year, successful season. This is coming from a fan of 30 years, an experienced Lion fan right there. Sean chiming in. Thank you.
Michigan fan, so he's a man of high character.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. You're Al Jackson. Go Lions. We got some Jason Smith says go Lions. But do you want to chime in on one of those comments, Dom?
You can't put Jared Goff in the top 100.
Okay, let's hit that. Let's talk about Jared Goff. Does Jared Goff belong in the top 100 just based off of his last year's performance? Put that into the comments because we want to hear from you. Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you got something on that or no?
Oh, I mean, it's just, are there 5 quarterbacks in the league that you would take in front of Jared Goff? Yes. Therefore, he does not make the top 100.
But can you argue maybe that quarterback, because it's so important that maybe it gets 7 or 8 slots where like a center might only get 1 or 2?
Well, I mean, do you like strawberry ice cream or chocolate ice cream?
Okay. Well, I'm trying to help this guy here that is trying to get Goff into the top 100 and I'm trying to make it happen. I'm trying to be there for you. I mean, like I said, I don't mind that they left all of these players off. I mean, we have a young team. They need to prove it for more. There's more consistency. Like Amon-Ra is probably our most consistent player. When you look at his stats, it looks like a checkbox of 6 catch, 7 catch, 8 catch, 9 catch, 10 catch, 8 catch, 8 catch, 8 catch, 8 catch. It's
hadn't to put Amon-Ra and Penei Sewell on the list, then it would have been a true snub to the Lions, right? So,
but those are the two.
If you break it up, 32 teams and 100 players, somewhere around 3 players per game, 2.7 players per game, whatever that comes out to be. And the Lions only get 2. So I think that's the measure. That is the extent of the snub.
How many did the Bears get?
I actually hit that bet right here. This segment brought to you by the Jameson Williams Casino and Sportsbook. I had the over 2.5 at the JMO Sportsbook. Over 2.5 players on this list for the Lions. So I lost.
Stop playing with us.
You down there in the New Orleans right there, but
stop playing with us.
I don't know if I ever want to get rid of that drop, but I did pull in the other one since we are talking about
by the power of Ra. By the power of Ra.
By the power of Ra. Thank you to
that Prince of Persia. What is that?
That's Prince of Persia.
By the power of Ra.
So thank you to Barry from Scotland. Barry, the Green Bay Packer fan, sends me a message and says, you need to get the By the Power of Ra from the Prince of Persia. So I went and I tracked it down and I got it as
Scotland, Wyoming, or the actual country of Scotland?
Scotland, the actual country. It's like talking about
Scotland, or he's a Packer fan.
No, probably. He's a Packer fan from Scotland. And it's like, and I swear, every time I talk to him, it's like talking to Drew McIntyre about football from the WWE. It's so much fun. He's got a good football. He's got a good football mind. Maybe he might pop in here because it's actually like in the it's like in the evening in Scotland right now. So it's going good right here. So I need to get to these comments because I always neglect everybody. Lee says that Amon-Ra plays anywhere and he's higher than that. Big shout out to Mike in the Big Ten. I like that. I like that call.
Oh.
He's a beast, man. You can line him up everywhere. And I think what makes him a top 10 wide receiver are things that have nothing to do with catching the ball. He's the best blocking wideout.
To Lee's point there, he's saying that if Amon-Ra played for the Patriots, he would be higher ranked in this ranking.
For sure.
83, based on the numbers.
And listen, so I'm down into like the 60s on the list now, right? On what planet are Jalen Waddle and Garrett Wilson and Devontae Smith and Chris Olave? How are all of them ahead of Amon-Ra?
Okay, so I'm gonna yes.
None of them are
now we can complain. I want to send an angry letter to the league. That's ridiculous.
I can answer. That's because those players you mentioned all play the X. They all play beyond the numbers. And Amon-Ra is not that player. And that player is valued more in a 100-player ranking system than the position that Amon-Ra plays. That's my opinion on it, but it makes sense to me. When you look at what Amon-Ra which is the the other side or work in the slot, he's probably the best in the business in that. I mean, Jalen Waddle definitely is in that conversation as well.
Yeah, but what he offers, and this is something that he offers over all of those other wide receivers, is blocking downfield and all the intangible things that,
good point.
And it just doesn't get valued. Like, the Hines Wards of the world and, the Wes Welkers of the world, they were always underappreciated. I always appreciated that people underappreciated them in my fantasy football leagues because that they're just going to catch like 70 million balls, even though they're not going to average 12 yards per catch. They're going to average 8 yards per catch and catch double the balls. Possession receivers are more important to me than the guy that can go deep. It's nice to get a big play every once in a while. I can respect that, but the guy that can get a 3rd and 4 and haul in the ball in traffic, that's the guy I want on my team.
I believe that, his work ethic and the chip that he carries around and his strength and his backstory that we learned on Hard Knocks last year, he is going to go down as an all-time great for the Detroit Lions. Certainly has the mettle to do it. His attitude. He leads by example on the field. You can always count on him. His toughness, the strength of his hands when he gets his hands on the ball. You never see Amon-Ra lose a fumble or somebody knock the ball out by one-handing him. So just those things that he brings to the table that inherently make your entire team tougher. Those, like you said, that's another intangible thing that he brings.
Calvin Ridley is an honorable mention.
Lee says that Bear top 3, it becomes a popularity contest. Kelsey at 5th. The guy changes games, but more importantly, consistently. I don't know. Is he backing the 5th or is he kind of bashing it? You think? Barely top 3.
I don't know. It's like I said,
but it is. I agree with the popularity contest part of it.
Well, I think. Comment goes just like our conversation did. Kelsey at 5? Well, he is the best tight end in the league. So,
and Van Ness, 9D GBT, this Packer Love is going to have a great season. He's been chomping at the bit. He's been waiting for me to say something about the Green Bay Packers for a half an hour. Mike, what do you think about Jordan Love and his
I think that the Green Bay Packers are a dangerous team. Now that Aaron Rodgers is not there, is Jordan Love a great leader is a better question. I think that's why all these Bear fans are still so hyped on Justin Fields, even though he's had Jamarcus Russell numbers. It's because he displays leadership and moxie that Jamarcus Russell never did. And they see potential in that. Now, if Jordan Love can be a great leader and an average player, the Green Bay Packers could make the playoffs. If Jordan Love is great and a great leader, the Green Bay Packers are going to pick up right where they left off with Aaron Rodgers 2 years ago.
Well, in my opinion, I think they're really going to miss Aaron Rodgers. And I think that average Green Bay Packer fan is looking at this definitely with the glass half full, thinking that Jordan Love can step in and even be something like that. Like, defenses are going to challenge him to throw the ball. They're going to make him be the quarterback that Green Bay needs him to be. And I mean, is he that guy? They're going to put a lot of pressure on him this year, and he isn't Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers.
I think they finished second in the division. Russ, what do you think? The Packers.
I think they could finish second in the division. I think that like the first game of the season, that their team is more complete than the Chicago Bears, and I think they're going to beat the Chicago Bears in week 1. But when it gets to the later game that they play later in the year, I think that Chicago's going to overtake them. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. I'm on the Justin Field wagon of him being better than what people think that he's going to be this year. They did surround him with more talent, and he didn't have a lot to work with last year, but he also didn't make bad decisions when he had good decisions to make.
Right. What do you think, Dom? Jordan Love?
Well, I mean, I've been waiting for this, and whether they want to admit it or not, Packers fans have been too. Like, this team going back, 3 years, they've been preparing for the Jordan Love era. They gave Aaron Jones all that money. Then they drafted A.J. Dillon, and their defense is still pretty good. So if they can lean on that run game and, win some ugly games, I mean, I guarantee you there will be probably close to a handful of games that they lose that they could have won because Jordan Love just can't make those couple key throws. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're spot on with all of that. They've got a good defense, a stout running game for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And what young quarterback's best friend? Tight end. So they draft 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think they definitely are formidable. And if Jordan Love is great, you could be looking at 12 or 13 wins, like our viewer typed in there. He's going to have a great season. Well, if he does, then the rest of us are pretty much in trouble because that team is definitely a joke. But like to Russ's point, you lost a Hall of Famer. How good is the kid going to be? You had a Hall of Famer and you finished with 8 wins. So
if he's average,
I'm better than a Hall of Famer.
I think that if he is average, that they're going to lose 11 games. Like, he has to be. He's got to be as good as Aaron Rodgers was spectacular. So in order for him to match what Aaron Rodgers had done, he needs to be spectacular as well. So it's going to be a drop off if he's average, unless they completely change the way that they're running the whole deal. All right, we got a Packer fan in here. We want to hear from a Packer fan on this. All right, I don't know if you've been listening to what we've been talking about right here, but you actually brought this topic up, Van Ness. What's going on, brother? How you doing this morning? Or did we lose him already?
Man, he's frozen. There he is.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Thank you for not making the fan base think that I kicked you off. Or maybe they will, because he's freezing again. Oh, the technical difficulties. By the way, you can sponsor Main Event 365 to help us through all of this technical difficulty crap so we can afford nice stuff. So
are you there,
doing?
Van Ness 90 GBT? He is not there. It's all the cornfields.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Wisconsin thing. They're way up there. I don't want people making fun of him or something. I'm like, we're trying to get him on here.
Right. This isn't Monday night.
Yeah, this is true.
Sometimes I have to
Van
reel
Ness,
myself in.
that's the other linebacker from Iowa, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hercules.
Tom, but I love
Yeah.
that.
It seems like you might be good now. So how are
Okay.
you doing? Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
So what is your name? You're not Van S9G.
My name is Steve.
Hi, Steve. How you doing?
All right.
Um,
My thoughts on things, like I said, I come on your show at times. You guys are fun people to hang out with. And, you know, I go over to a lot of, like, it's kind of funny. I go to a lot of the Jets podcast and listen to them guys, and then the whole thing about them getting Aaron Rodgers. I kind of laugh. I want to sit there and say to them, do you have any idea of what guy you're getting? So they have no idea what they're getting in Rodgers. They keep talking 4 MVP, this, that, whatever. And I'm like, you guys have no idea what you're getting with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I'm so glad he's gone.
so you don't think this is going to be a successful thing in New York at all?
Look, everybody should know if they watch football over the time. Look what Rodgers have done. One, okay, he didn't go to the OTAs to be there with Watson and Dobbs and the young guys and whatever. Rodgers did what he wanted to do. A couple years ago, remember the whole pandemic thing happened, whatever? He lied, said he was vaccinated, and he wasn't, and he had to miss the game.
He said he was immunized.
Well, see, he lied.
chose his words very carefully.
See,
But
he's
keep going.
smart. See, he's smart. He knows what he's doing.
You're damn right he is.
Okay, and I think Gutekunst, I think the whole GM owner, I think they really got tired of this. Because see, this isn't.
Steve, I love the proper pronunciation of the general manager's name. For all the Packers fans in the back, could you please recite the general manager's name of the Green Bay Packers? I put this out there many times on the internet, and I never get it correct until you just did it. One more time, his name is Matt.
No. The GM's name is Brian Gutekunst.
Stop playing with us.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh gosh. So there's the question. Now this is something that I throw at all Green Bay Packer fans that come on to this show is you guys have 8 first-round picks on your defense, and Brian Gouda guy is I'm not going there. I can't. I'm not allowed to say his name.
Okay,
No,
say Brian Gutekunst.
Gutekunst.
No, that's improper.
Gutekunst. I'm more comfortable with that. I will mispronounce it then.
Right.
So
it's not
missing
correct,
my
though.
point right here. So between Gutekunst and Joe Barry. So a big question is going to be answered this year. Are you on the Gutekunst train or are you on the Barry train? Because
I'm on Goody's side.
So you're not a big fan of what Joe Barry put out his first year with all of that first round talent.
Well, okay. Well, it's like this. There's some things I want to say as well. Like you guys are talking about Amon St. Brown.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. You guys mentioned those other receivers, Waddle, Alavier, whatever. Look, Amon is a great receiver. Great talent. The reason why those guys are ahead of him, it's the name. The NFL is about names. Okay, like this. Okay, like last year's Super Bowl. I'm gonna throw this out there. I didn't believe that one bit. Juju Smith-Schuster, really? Head case Kadarius Toney. Really? Over AJ Brown.
Steve. What is the point?
The point is, okay, it's the NFL to me in a way is like the WWE. Okay, like I don't want to.
You've had enough of that shit.
I'm not going to diss Mahomes, but see, like a friend of mine here, he's a big Chiefs fan, and I jack him all the time.
Playoffs.
Right. And this thing with Travis Kelce, now I got a name for Travis Kelce. I'm always wide open Kelce. I've never seen a guy so wide open more than anybody in the damn league in my life than Kelce. And they say he's the best tight end. I don't think so.
Yeah, he's like a 24-hour Walmart. He's always open.
Yeah. Well, I mean, isn't that a testament to him being the guy that gets open?
Well,
Yeah,
Like-
I'm trying to figure out how's it all in a name, Steve. I mean, your team, you guys have a guy named Romeo. So how is it all in a name?
the thing is,
How's it all about names?
The NFL, like now Brady's gone. Mahomes is now the face of the NFL.
Right.
Okay.
Rightfully so.
Okay.
Yep.
But see, I'm not buying it.
His dad was a professional athlete. He's
a
got an
baseball
incredible
player.
arm. He's an
Right.
incredible desire to win. Why shouldn't he be?
No.
That's nothing to do with his name.
Well, I think that Steve's kind of lends to the point that I was making earlier about, like, I don't mind that there's only 2 players on this top 100 because there's a lot of ascending players on the Lions. There probably could be 4 or 5 of them on there next year with a little more consistency, with a little more name recognition. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I think that's a good point in that way, Steve.
Well, with Love, I know it was just. See, this is like what did Ray Jennings say? This is like a deja vu thing happened all over again, because what happened to Favre and Rodgers is now happening to Rodgers with Love and whatever. And if you guys can remember, like, you guys had a dude on here the other day. He was a Packer fan, and he said that Rodgers played in 2005 when they went 4-12. No, he didn't. Rodgers was drafted in 2005. Rodgers started in 2008. He sat 3 years behind Favre.
Yeah.
Now the game
He didn't take any snaps at all. Like, there was no snaps. Okay.
No, the first time he took snaps was in the Dallas game where Favre got hurt.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure on that little tidbit right there, because sometimes the starter comes out and, the backup gets to come in and, go out there and play against the prevent. And
when he came in that
Mike Knight,
when he came in that Dallas game, and he showed some promise, he showed a lot of poise, and they had a thing on YouTube. That's where Favre knew. Favre saw that. This guy can play. Now, last year
he played.
Yeah, Rodgers played the rest of the game against Dallas. They lost, but man, he showed a lot. Just like last year, when Rodgers got
Thank you,
hurt,
Dom.
When Rodgers got hurt with ribs and all that in the Eagles game, and Love came in, Love impressed me then. Love impressed me then.
All you need is love.
Okay?
Love is all you need.
And so
love stinks.
See, now with you Lions, now my dad's a Lions fan. Okay, my dad is a Lions fan.
He's a smart man.
Okay, but he's 84. He's not much into the sport like he used to be. Okay.
Does he want to come on the show?
No. I'm like, my brother is a Steelers fan, but he's more of a baseball fan. I'm the big time football fan. You cut my head open, there's a football in there.
So wait, is he a Pirates fan?
Oh, big time.
Oh, that's
so
time.
And a Lions fan. He loves a loser.
Yeah.
Oh, no, my brother is everything Pittsburgh.
Well, you got Adrian West here says, I have the team winning 8 to 9 games.
With the Packers?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I in that era, 8, 9, 9 and 8, maybe 10 and 7. I'm in the 500 mark era.
So Lee Flores, the smart fan, says that the Lions are taking the North. I think that's where the smart money is.
Well,
and
I kind of agree to that. I think the Lions are the team now that shows what. But here's the thing. My thing is, nobody knows about like what Love is going to do. See, that's what's his name was saying, Mike. That's what he was saying. Here's a real question for you right here, because all of the optimistic Packer fans that are out there that think that he can be as good as Rodgers, what are you going to do if Love is dog water? What are you going to do if he's like just average or just awful? Well,
hand the ball off.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I can sit there and say that I like what we got from the Jets, because if we get this first round pick next year from the Jets, okay. Now, if we are dog water, like you're saying, Russell,
I'm just talking about Love. The rest of your team's actually pretty good.
We're already ready to give up on Jordan Love if he has a bad year this year. Just,
Okay,
I mean,
well,
Aaron Rodgers brought you a Super Bowl trophy and MVP and accolades and playoff wins.
Look,
and you
look,
were so glad that he's
got
gone,
one
man. If a
Super
Lion
Bowl.
player ever brought that here, we'd have statues of him in
Okay.
every city.
Mike, we're up against it right here. So I mean, I want to continue this conversation. This is exactly what I love to have at the end of these phone sessions, is a good heated conversation. And why is it good to have a good heated conversation? What's going to happen tonight, Mike?
Oh, you're talking about the NFC North Open Mic night every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We have all 4 fan bases from the NFC North in the room, and we are talking trash. Yeah, there's some football talk in there too, but it's 4 fan bases having it out, letting the other team have it. So check your thick skin at the door, and we'll see you every Monday night at 7 p.m. for the NFC North Open Mic.
Well, like what I was saying,
have a great night, guys. I got to hit it.
Let's say, now, there's a quarterback out there coming out next year, and it's not Caleb Williams from USC, and it's not the guy from North Carolina. There's a quarterback that I would love for the Packers to draft next year if it happens, and that's the guy from South Carolina, Spencer Rattler.
Oh, boy.
Well, I mean, oh, boy, what?
Wasn't that the guy that couldn't hack it at, was it Bama or Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
See, that right there, that's your vote of no confidence in Jordan Love.
Well, no. Now listen, don't go putting the cart before the horse. Okay. No, I'm just saying. Nobody knows what Love's going to do. Now you guys are saying like Russell said, what if Love, dogs out and not good and they whatever. Well, I don't know what the Pack's going to do. But see, that's the thing. That's what's scary for you Lions fans and Bears fans and Vikings fans. Just like, I don't know if you guys ever watch a show on YouTube, Tom Grossi. He's a trip. Like he did this little interview where there was like had the Lions and the Vikings standing there, and they both was battling back and forth like who was going to take the North. And then he was in the Bears jersey saying, well, what about us? Whatever. And then here he comes up from the basement in the Packers jersey, and the Bears, him as a Bears fan, is like, no, you're in the basement now. You had too much TV time. Get downstairs. Whatever. Da. And then they did this. What if Love is good? And then
what if he is good? I'm sorry about that, guys.
Right.
Bill, the Packer fan, was sabotaging my stuff again. So if you're into all that kind of sabotage stuff, go follow Bill the Packer fan if you're into all that green magic.
And see, it's kind of funny to me, like this season, like with the Packers and the Bears, what Rodgers, I own you and whatever. And now their first game is against Chicago in Chicago. So, like, to me, this shit's scripted. Is this to where now the Bears might win this because Rodgers isn't there, or is this going to be a thing where Love wins?
Bears ain't going to win that first game. I mean, as much as I think that Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback and everything like that, he doesn't play defense.
Well, I'm surprised.
So, I mean, Justin Fields has not proven that he can do anything against that Green Bay defense. So
I'm surprised you guys ain't got.
And they're all coming back.
I'm surprised you guys ain't got Bears fans really in here.
Oh, they are. They come in here. They usually sleep in. So because they don't have any jobs or anything like that, so they sleep in and they'll be on tonight for the thing. And gosh, I usually don't get kicked off the internet while I'm trying to sign the show off, but I got to try to sign the show off right here. I don't mind talking a little bit with you guys afterward, but yes, Mike did put out there. I don't know how much of the NFC North Open Mic is tonight. We are streaming live. It's Detroit Lions Villain Squad, NFC North main event. Bill the Packer fan, Mike the Bear fan, the Detroit Lions news. Thank you to Joe Chat for allowing us to broadcast into that gigantic Lions page right there. We appreciate you so much for helping us get our brand out there too. We're on the YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube. God bless each and every one of you guys that are watching. I appreciate you guys popping on here, and we'll see you guys tonight at 7. Boom.
All right.
One pride.
Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot.